What's up, winners? Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's check out a bit more of Meghan and her unsolicited, or solicited by her, commencement speech. She did a little bit of nonsense talking about causes she doesn't care about, and now we're going to listen to her talk probably about herself. Yes, about herself.
So the first thing I want to say to you is that I'm sorry.
What?
I am so sorry that you have to grow up in a world where this is still present.
Make it all about her.
I was 11 or 12 years old when I was just about to start Immaculate Heart Middle School in the fall, and it was the LA Riots.
More stories about her being 11. Again, I guess her goals and things were created when she was 11.
Riots, which was also triggered by a senseless act of racism.
Okay.
And I remember the curfew, and I remember
furrowing her brow,
rushing back home, and on that drive home, seeing
again the rushing back home. I can't even blink that fast. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean lying, but it is a little bit stress going up, or just a little change for what she was doing. Sorry, it's a bit windy here, but at least you're getting some nice sunny view.
Ash fall from the sky, and smelling the smoke, and seeing the smoke billow out of buildings, and seeing people run out of buildings carrying bags and looting. And I remember seeing men in the back of a van just holding guns and rifles. And I remember pulling up to the house and seeing the tree that had all...
Sounds pretty bad to me. This is pretty interesting because it sounds pretty asynchronous with what she's saying.
Always been there, completely charred.
You know what? I actually agree with her on this, but it's kind of funny because she's making her speech is supposed to be about, you know, the police stuff, which, you know, things definitely go wrong, but she's mostly upset about the riots, which is fair. You know, in my city, it got destroyed. A lot of nice areas got destroyed. There were burned out cars. None of this was covered in the news. New York was like a war zone. Burned out cars, total riots. I'm out of there, by the way. It's ridiculous. It's like the most expensive, top 3 most expensive cities in the world. It's rioting constantly.
And those memories don't go away. And I can't imagine that at 17 or 18 years old, which is how old you are now, that you would have to have a different version of that same type of experience. That's something that you should have an understanding of, but an understanding of as a history.
An understanding. I give it to her. She's normally very good with actual pronunciation. She's not a good speaker because she goes off talking about nothing, talking about herself, using too many words, but she pronounces words with precision generally. I'll give her that.
History lesson, not as your reality. So I am sorry that in a way we have not gotten the world to the place that you deserve it to be.
What is she talking about? I don't know. I don't even know.
The other thing, though, that I do remember about that time was how people came together. And
really? Is that really what happened? For those of you who were around at that time, could you comment? Do you know what it was like? It doesn't sound like people were really coming together. It sounds like there was riots.
We are seeing that right now. We are seeing that
no, we're
from
not.
The sheriff in Michigan or the police
What?
chief in Virginia. We are seeing
No.
people stand in solidarity. We are seeing
No.
communities come together and
Not
to
at all.
uplift.
Not at all. Tons of
And
friendships
you are going
ended.
to be part of this movement.
No, no. Again, I've said this a few times on this channel. It drives me crazy. There are a lot of movements and political things like it needs to be young people in college who have no life experience. I remember a college campus in New York. They literally were having sign creation stations. They were like, go protest, here, make signs. That to me is manipulation. If you need people who have no life experience, don't have the ability to judge things, and you're just telling them like, get involved, this is the thing to do, that's manipulative. That is the opposite of how we want things to work. We want people to be able to think things through, not have a bunch of 18-year-olds who are now act like 11-year-olds running around because it's the thing to do, and that's what drives policy. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I know that this is not the graduation that you envisioned.
Meghan, leave them alone. You know what? That's not what this was about. It's supposed to be a commencement speech. I think she's doing the topic du jour so that it would get on the news, as it is, to give her some PR. This is, you know what, it's okay for these kids to graduate and enjoy their graduation and talk about their future. She's just talking about the cause that's going to give her extra attention. It's not for the kids.
Not the celebration that you imagined.
Because
but I also know that there's a way for us to reframe this for you and to not see this as the end of something, but instead to see this as the beginning of you harnessing.
Meghan, leave the kids alone. You know, that's actually just got to me where it hit me that this is a commencement speech in name, and it's about them. It's not about you talking about the politics and the issues and your experience with it. It's about them. She's barely mentioned them at all. And whatever's going on in the world, if you're graduating, it's okay to celebrate. That's nothing too with a lot of these movements. It's like you can't do anything but talk about our movement and be angry with us or upset with us or, you know, protest with us. Like, yeah, your life goes on.
All of the work, all the values, all the skills that you have embodied over the last 4 years, and now you channel that. Now all of that work gets activated. Okay. Now you get to be part of rebuilding. And I know sometimes people say, how many times do we need to rebuild? Well, you know
what about their life and goals? Meghan, you're very focused on your goals. Anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Let me know what you think.